Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we had a barn burner today, as you all witnessed. It was, of course, a final score of 48-49, overtime victory by Georgia. If you happen to miss any of the game was Georgia was down late in the fourth and came back and scored touchdown to put it into overtime, and actually got the ball back with just a few seconds, got the ball in field goal range, attempted a 57-yarder, didn't quite make it, so had to go to overtime, and Buffalo won the coin toss and chose to play defense first. Georgia scored, kicked the extra point. Buffalo got the ball, scored, and went for two, which I think was probably good strategy, considering they were the visiting team, and thankfully we got a stop and on the 2-point conversion, and we win 49-48.
How many points did you spot?
It was 35-0 at halftime. We were down. We had a rousing halftime speech by me, and it worked. I will say this too, for the record. I did not do anything different about having the media not at practice this week. I just want y'all to know that. Yesterday we started period one with the scout team, which is when we do scout team work. Starting period one, we only have the media out there during fundamental work. And that's why I was upset the other day, because fundamentals were 1 through 3, and 4 was a different type of drill that I usually don't have anybody out there. So I was mad at myself at that. But yesterday was a all scout team work. Today, of course, was the scout team game, and tomorrow we're going to do a situational scrimmage. So we're going right into situations from the very beginning as well. That's why you guys aren't invited to those, but Friday and Saturday you'll be invited. So I don't know if we miscommunicated anything about the rest of the week, but anyway, I wasn't mad at anybody. I was just mad at myself for not sticking to my own policy. So anyway, unofficial, official stats. Todd Gurley 6 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. Ken Malcolm 6 carries, 50 yards. Keith Marshall 3 carries, 17 yards. Actually had probably about a 30-yarder call back. Might have even been farther than that. Richard Samuel 3 carries, 10 yards. Passing, Murray was 20 of 25 for 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. LeMay was 3 for 5 for 42 yards. Hudson was 2 for 4, 24 yards and a touchdown.
How many yards was Murray? I'm sorry.
Who? Murray? Yeah. 253.
Thank you.
And I probably went too fast, but you all got these things if you want to go back. Does anybody need something they missed?
LeMay and Mason's yards.
LeMay, okay. LeMay yards was 42 and Hudson's was 24 and a touchdown. No picks. Although I will say that Marlo Herrera got a pick 6. We'll get to that. Marlon Brown had 7 catches for 98 yards. Wooten had 3 catches for 37 yards. Hardy had 2 catches for 36 yards. Conley had 3 catches for 29 yards. Bennett had 2 catches for 26. TK Tavares King had 2 catches, 24. Rhett McGowan had 3 catches for 23. Keith Marshall had a catch for 23 yards and a touchdown. By the way, Michael Bennett had a touchdown. Rhett McGowan had a touchdown catch. And as I said, Keith Marshall had a touchdown catch on a 23-yard reception. Ken Malcolm had 1 catch for 18 yards. Merritt Hall had 1 catch for 5. Defensively, Gilliard had 4 tackles. All these guys had 3. Mitchell, Jenkins, Jarvis Jones, Herrera, and Norman. They all had 3. Jenkins had a tackle for loss and a sack. Jarvis had a tackle for loss.
Which Jenkins, Jordan or Dre?
I'm sorry, John Jenkins. Got more.
Mhm.
Marlo Herrera had an interception, 23-yard return for touchdown. Jordan Jenkins, 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Cornelius, 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a pass breakup. All these guys had 1 tackle. Sheldon Dawson, Garrison Smith, Sean Williams, Swan, Avery Jones, Christian Robinson, and Ramik.
And then 2.
Brandon Smith had a pass breakup. I'm sorry?
They had 2 tackles.
They'll have 1, I'm sorry.
They had 1.
I'll have 1. And of those, Garrison Smith had a tackle for loss. Sean Williams had a pass breakup. Damian Swan had 2 pass breakups. That 57-yarder was the only field goal attempt, where all the other kicks were made. And we kind of, I think we made a mistake on the punting stats, so I don't have that. Okay.
So,
What do y'all got?
everybody you named would have been on Team Georgia, correct?
Those are all Georgia stats.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So to be specific, I mean, essentially y'all play about a half a game.
We did. We played a half.
About a half a game, and
We started the second half.
You're down 35 to nothing.
And just started playing.
It
It was
just
pretty exciting game.
I was gonna say, I guess so. 13 points against the Georgia defense. Is that
Yes.
okay with 35 points?
Well, one
Deficit.
play, I gave Buffalo about a 67-yard gain to the 11-yard line. But it was first and 10 at the 11.
I guess.
We could have stopped them or forced a field goal, but they scored. They did score a touchdown. So. And then the overtime, they legitimately scored in overtime, and they went for 2, and Georgia stopped it.
who was quarterback in that Buffalo team?
Fatone.
Fatone?
Oh, I think every snap is Fatone.
Their guy's kind of a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah, Fatone is really, he's really good at simulating Franklin.
Any idea who scored for the scout team overtime?
Wow. I don't remember. And the other thing is they all had different numbers. They had Buffalo numbers. So, yes, sir. Do you know who scored?
Yeah.
Okay, who scored?
It was Mike Herdman.
Herdman scored.
Yeah.
Do you know who scored the other one?
Towns.
Who? Kenneth Towns scored the other touchdown. Thank you, Chris.
I assume you're encouraged to see Gurley, I guess, putting up good numbers in all 3 scrimmages.
Yeah, he did. He did. And you know, statistically, I mean, Ken Malcolm had Gurley averaged 9.0 and Malcolm averaged 8.3. Marshall would have averaged about 10 yards a carry if his one run didn't get called back. There was a holding on that one, but he still averaged 5.7 on the others. But yeah, Gurley ran well. But they, bless you. I think they all really thought they ran well.
At what point now, as far as the running backs go, do you go about maybe getting a pecking order lined up this first week?
I don't know. I don't even want them to know. I don't even know for sure. I mean, we haven't talked to the staff and said how we're going to do it yet.
Mhm.
It's just too early. But even when we do that, I doubt I'll announce anything because I don't even want the guys to know. I want to just keep fighting, keep competing. We'll tell them the night before the game, maybe.
So you're saying you won't announce the starting running back until we see?
We may announce a starter, but to sit there and try to say who's next and who's. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Ken Malcolm's going to start, but I mean, something could change between now and then.
What about fumbles and
No fumbles, no turnovers by the Georgia team, and just had the one pick. that Marlo had. I don't think there was any other fumbles in the whole game. Christopher, do you remember any fumbles?
It was not.
There was any fumbles.
You're, at this point, obviously, you're going against a scout team, so I would assume the lineups are basically set up. There's only a few positions, really, seems to be a lot of question about, or other than the tailbacks. Who might start at your safety positions in the first game?
I probably won't ever say that. Just because strategically, I don't know if I want people to know what we're going to do. Might give them a hint. I want to give them a hint.
I guess injury-wise today, everything come up?
Well, yeah. I don't think anything serious happened today. I know there's like a Charlie horse. I don't know if that's a medical term, but it's a boo-boo.
Ron's gonna be getting a report up here momentarily. So.
One guy had a bruised thigh or something. But yeah, Ron will get a report. Thanks. That's my
Eye?
answer.
Is that what you said?
Bruised thigh, I think.
Oh. I heard bruised eye. I'm sorry. That'd have to hurt.
One side the whole game.
Murray's numbers, I guess, seem to be pretty accurate.
He's been very accurate.
Most of the preseason.
He threw one ball today that I can remember that should have been a completion. Just missed a guy open, but I think there's only one the whole day for him. And yeah, he's been very accurate.
I guess the question I had is, if you guys are going to be a championship team, a top 5 team, what does he need to do in terms of, can he do what he did last year? Does he need to step up certain aspects of his game?
I think there were times when he took sacks when he could have thrown it away. And I think there was a couple times that he threw some balls that could have got picked that should have been thrown in a safer spot. And then really, if he does that and matches everything else, it'll be not a good year, but a great year. And last year was pretty darn good. That's what it comes down to. Just, I mean, we should never throw a ball that should have been picked or could have been picked. Now, there's a lot of balls that get picked that I don't blame the quarterback. I mean, you might get hit right as you're throwing it, it's a pick. Well, you know, the guy gets blamed for it, but he couldn't help that. If you hit a receiver right in the hands and it pops up in the air and it's a pick, it's a pick by the quarterback, which is not his fault. There's some throws that should have been picked, and I'm more mad at that than the pick. You see what I'm saying? You might throw an interception. I give him a plus on that play because depending on how it happened. But he might have one that turns out to be an incompletion because the DB dropped it or whatever. But it should have been picked. It should not have been thrown. You know, those are the balls we can't throw. And he didn't throw a massive amount of those, but I mean, you know, there's a few here and there. And, been very few this camp. There's been a couple this camp. That's what I want. And then if you do get hit, don't fumble the stinking ball, man. And I think there's times, I mean, you might be scrambling to your right, and you know there's defenses pursuing you, and you could gain a yard. But if you just throw the ball away, you're not going to get hit. You're not going to get hurt. You're not going to fumble. You're going to save the yardage of a sack. Just throw it away. There's just sometimes you got to throw it. And I think he was 10 times better than the first year he started. I mean, he was scrambling like running around way too much that year. He did much better in that regard, but there's still a few times I thought he should just burn it, you know. So, other than that, he's had a great camp. You know, I'm not complaining, but if you're asking what could he do better, that's what I would say.
Mark, Justin Scott Wesley's name came up a lot during spring. We hadn't heard as much this fall. How's it going?
Yeah, and balls just hadn't been coming to him as much in these scrimmages. But he's, you know, he's definitely a guy that's going to be dressing and traveling and playing. He'll be playing. You know, how much he plays will have a lot to do with, you know, how he continues to progress in practice. And also, you know, in any given game, you know, you got your first unit that is a little bit gassed, and you throw the other guys in there, and if if you're in there and you happen to be there when your number's called, make a big play or two, then all of a sudden people gain, more confidence in you. So that can happen as well.
Is there any plan yet on return guys?
Trying to think who we had do it today. Do you remember the different guys that returned? We only had 2 kickoffs to us. Was one Keith and one no kickoff. One was the second was Gurley. The first one was it kickoff? Might have been. And Malcolm had a punt return. Brandon Smith had a punt return. I don't think we put the young guy back there. I think just Malcolm and Brandon got the wretched punt return.
Was it a pretty good scrimmage from an operational standpoint? Aren't you trying
It
to?
was
You've
good.
got the clock running. You got to get
Very
the teams
good.
on and off
It
the
was
field
very
without
good.
any.
It was actually, that was outstanding. Did a great job. Scott, I got to give a hand to the graduate assistant coaches for getting Buffalo lined up, ready to go. I mean, we had very few